What's up, y'all? It's your boy Alex.
It's your boy Big Ive.
And today, man, it's Father's Day.
Father's Day, man. What is it? Sunday, June 21st.
Yeah.
June 21st, 2020. Crazy year, man.
Hell yeah, 2020 is a hell of a year.
Crazy year, man. So sitting here on Father's Day, it's a beautiful day.
So the only thing we both could do is send our fathers texts due to the complications of COVID-19.
Yeah, man.
Let's say how that got you feeling right now.
Well, my father's not a big phone person anyway.
Okay.
So I would love to be there in person. I haven't been home in months, bro. I think the last time I was home was January.
Really?
You know, so I haven't seen my family since January.
Okay.
So about 6 months, 6 months. It's been rough, but it's all right. How about you?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I haven't seen my dad since February.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's close.
He's close. Yeah. He's not taking no chances. He has my grandmother at the house now, and he's like, he can't take no chances.
I didn't even know that, man. Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
So now it's like, we grabbing life by the horns, though.
Yeah. Yeah, business is booming for you.
Hey, well, we ain't gonna say booming for IRS purposes. But like, I mean, business is good, man. How about business for you?
Business is great, man. Esports is booming right now.
Yeah.
During the day, I have a day job as well.
Yeah.
That company is booming as well. So I'm happy, man.
Yeah.
COVID was as disastrous as it is.
Yeah.
Kind of a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Real focus, man.
Seriously.
Real
so I know. You came in today and you were like, "Yo, man, we need to talk about fathers." And I was like, you know what? I can feel that. It's the perfect move for today.
Yeah.
And so let's just jump into it, man. Let's talk to the people.
You always set it off right.
You
You always set it off right. I mean, what better day than Father's Day, right?
Yeah,
and let's just jump in.
Yeah.
We spent some time, today talking about, fathers briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a couple of questions we wanted to ask each other. Kind of went into some answers as well. But let's continue it. Let's bring it live from the kitchen.
Live from the kitchen, y'all.
Live from the kitchen, and let's get it going, man. I think it'll be edifying for some people.
So, all right, what was it like growing up with your father?
Oh, we starting like that?
Yeah, man. We gotta jump into it, man.
That was my therapist's first question when I went to therapy. He was like,
Really?
"Tell me about the relationship with your dad." I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait a minute, I just got here." Wow. So, what was the relationship with my father growing up? I grew up in a 2-family household.
Okay.
Black love.
Mm-hmm.
So it was my father, my mother, my brother, my sister, myself. My father, man of very few words.
Yeah.
So if you think about like an old school dad, he pays the bills, he goes to work, it's food on the table, he loves you.
Yeah.
That's the relationship.
Right.
He's a provider, he's a protector,
Mm-hmm.
he's the man of the house, right?
Right.
So that was the extent of the relationship, bro, to be honest with you. I know most people expect some long, drawn out Cosby story, but my father was the type of guy, his actions is louder than his words.
Right.
And if you have to get to his words, you really messed up,
Yeah.
right? So that was kind of the relationship, man, of me and my father growing up.
Okay. So, what is the relationship now like?
Ooh, it's unspoken love, which is pretty much the case in many black households.
Yeah.
I speak to my dad occasionally. Mostly, my mom calls me every other day.
Yeah.
My dad, maybe 2 weeks ago by, and I'm like, I need to call this man. I haven't spoken to my father. And I pick up the phone. Hey, Dad, how's it going? And he'd be like, hey, son, what's up? And I'm like, I miss you. Miss you too, son. You know how it is.
Yeah.
All right, here's your mother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that with fathers sometimes, man. I feel like we as men sometimes we're programmed to be very, I want to say like keep things short.
Mm-hmm.
Like that emotional side of us, with our own kids, and even then, it's like that with other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's the same thing with my father.
Yeah.
Sometimes he prefers listening,
Mm-hmm.
than talking.
Why do you think that is? Right.
I don't know, man. I think it's because the way that they were probably raised, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably back in the day, a lot of gentlemen, didn't talk a lot,
That's true.
versus now. I think we're prompted to talk.
Mm-hmm.
With social media. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Literally, you're forced to engage with people. What about you?
Oh man, don't even know. I mean, when I talked to my dad about his relationship with his father, right? I'm like, what was that like? You know, it's crazy because he's a splitting image of what he told me his dad was like.
Yeah.
You know, man of very few words, hardworking man.
Yeah.
When he's not at work, he just kind of want to relax. He pays the bills. You know, very short. It's like you're just like your dad.
Yeah.
You know, so when I try to dig in a little bit deeper, I'm like, well, what was the relationship you wanted with your dad, and how to? It's the same one that I long for with him.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like the circle is kind of repeating itself. Yeah.
So then, so in that case, you would say that you're a lot like your father, huh?
Oh, you going deep today? Hold on, man. Like,
I'm just saying, it's the same cycle.
I am a lot like my father. I believe that every man has a feminine and a masculine. You know, keep dropping this here. Feminine and masculine aspect to him. You know, you're as much as your mother as you are your father.
Yeah.
Right. So when I think about me being like my dad or the parts I take from my father, whew, yeah. You know, his temperament, for sure. His decisiveness, for sure.
Yeah.
His ability to articulate, for sure.
Right.
And a lot of things that I don't take on, which are good.
Yeah.
You know, but for the most part, I kind of mannerisms, everything.
Got you. So, can you tell the difference in the way you carry yourself, your success? Can you tell that your father being in your life? Let me say this. Your father being in your life, can you tell that has had an impact on you versus your friends without their fathers in their lives?
Sensitive. You know, I have to take a stand and say yes.
Okay. How?
You know, like on the last episode we were talking, and you know, I gave you an example of what the neighborhood looked like.
Yeah,
right.
About
14 guys, all of us, same neighborhood.
Yeah.
And as far as I can remember,
Newark.
Come on, it's Newark, man. It's Newark. You gotta say Newark, man. You get robbed calling it Newark. I think, I honestly remember being the only one with the dad. Like, my father would come down the street and, oh, here comes Mr. Johnson. Everyone knew him as, like, my father, but he was kind of like the only dad that was around. Yeah. You know, so I look at my colleagues growing up and I see how they, you know, they weren't shielded from certain misfortunes. Yeah. You know, whether it was financially, whether it was falling victim to opportunities, you know, not for lack of better words, like they didn't have anyone to guide them. Gotcha. You know, and when you're 13, 14 years old, you may think you're grown, especially as a man, but you really need an older man to really kind of hold your hand and say, don't do that. I'm gonna beat your ass, right? You know, you need that, right? So having my father definitely, you know, people would say I was afraid of my dad. Girls I would date, you scared of your dad? I'm not scared of my dad. Yeah. It was a level of respect. Yeah. Because those same women didn't have fathers around either. So it's very hard to explain. Like, it's not fear. Right. It's respect. Right. Like, I respect my father, so it gave me a sense of direction, man, for sure.
So when you say respect, the only thing I can think of is a Bronx Tale. Would you rather be loved or feared?
Need a little bit of both, man.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, man? I know, you know, being in an environment, you know, in Detroit, right?
Yeah, Detroit, Michigan.
What was your neighborhood like, and like, were you like, what was the breakdown of like fathers to around to not around? Like, what did that look like?
So same thing. You know, as you know, I met my dad really late in my life. I knew about him, and you know, we shook hands. You know, around when I was 5. But literally, I was the guy with like a stepfather. So, you know, all of my friends, they would be like, "Oh, this your stepdad?" Yeah, it's my stepdad. My stepdad, he came in to play, and I was one of the only few guys with a stepfather in their life. You know, in the hood, a lot of times people date but don't get married. Whoa. You know.
Yeah. And talk about it.
Yeah. So literally, that was the case in Detroit, and I feel like my stepfather, he played a great role in my life, and you know, the times that I did talk to my dad, he played a great role in my life, and it shifted, you know, the way I carried myself. My mother was a father figure too, in the way.
Yeah, you did tell me that. Well, I mean, do you mind if we just continue down this path? Like, we can just talk about that, you know, like, what was it like growing up with a stepfather? I mean,
man. I had two, man. My mother was married twice.
Okay.
The first one, his name was we ain't gonna say his name. I'm tripping.
Shout out to stepdad number one.
Yeah, stepdad number one. Love you, man. Love you. But that's my little sister's father, and he was a great guy, man.
Okay.
But I remember that longing for a father in my life the moment that they got divorced.
Wow.
And
how old were you?
Oh man, I think I was 8, 8 years old, you know, and I processed that shit all wrong, man. Like literally, kind of grew like a bitterness towards him, and I knew where my dad was at. My dad was down in Texas, but I'm in Detroit, so I can't get access to my dad. Whatever relationship he and my mother had, that was funny. And then my mom meets, you know, my current stepdad, and that dude was solid as a rock. You know, they still married to this day. I want to say about 17 years in.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So they've been together for a while.
Yeah, since 2003. So you good at math?
Yeah.
So that's 17.
Yeah,
That's
17, that's the first time he got a math question right, guys. That's it, you know
I learned from him.
Well, let's dig down that. So at 8, you lose a stepdad, and you processed it wrong. Was it like abandonment?
That's how I processed it. But, you know, when we talked about this off camera, sometimes it's like the way you process things in the moment, you kind of like look back later and go, well, it makes sense. I mean, I wasn't his kid.
Yeah.
You know, some guys would have stepped up and said, no matter what, you still mine. But he was kind of like, look, man, I got too much on my plate. He made that clear down the road. You know, as I got older of it makes sense. You know, you having a hard time feeding 2 mouths when we visit you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just seeing us eat McDonald's, you know, dollar menu, and I'm like processing it like, well, he could take care of us at that time. But then I'm going, oh, he was trying to save money.
Yeah.
You know, that's a role.
So stepdad 2 came.
Stepdad 2 came.
So then, were you rebellious because you was like, I don't want to feel this hurt again, and you kind of was just on a tear? What happened?
I think it was.
Like, I'm gonna see if you really, you know, like sometimes toxic relationships, like I'm gonna see if you can, how much damage you could take before I love you. Like, were you going kind of down that road with your stepdad, or like?
This is feeling like therapy, bro. No. Yeah. I mean, there was definitely, and I felt like even then, like in the hood too, you know how it is. Sometimes I think we basically we try to avoid attachment to some degree, even though we do get attached in our own way. I was definitely rebellious towards them. You know, I would do. My mom would tell you that first year of marriage for them, I was cutting up, bro. I was
still cutting up.
I'm still cutting up. But then, Lord have mercy.
Wow.
I wouldn't want to own dose of my own medicine at that point because I would call it poison.
Oh wow. So how difficult? So let's switch gears here. How difficult do you think it was for him to come in with your mindset? You know, going through, you know, stepdad 1, you know, biological dad 0, you know, and now stepdad 2 coming in. Like, how do you think that he digested everything?
Man, you know, that's a good question because a part of me looking back now goes, he definitely looked at the positive side. You know, AKA there was this woman he's in love with. So that's the only way I could look at it. If I love her, I could love her kids too. So, like, let me ask you this. Do you think you could be a stepfather?
To say no would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, do I think I could be a stepfather? Of course I can be a stepfather. Do I want to be a stepfather? You know, I think that if I look at the hard work and the sweat equity I put into my life, you know, I'm the type of person that, as dangerous as this can be, you know, I try hard to create my life. Right. You know, I believe in you can create the life you want. And the life I'm going after in regards to compensation, health, wealth, you know, even from a spiritual level. Like, I try to create it and do the day in and day out activities to make sure that over time I get to where I want to be. And because I've put in that hard work, I would prefer, you know, not to be, you know, but can you control who you love? you know, if you fall in love and that's what happens, then that's what happens, you know. But ideally, you know, I would like to experience, you know, that new life and that wife and that journey for a first time.
Right.
You know, if I had a preference, you know, for a first time. So I want to be clear about that.
Now, I agree with you 100%. I feel like, you know, the older we get, we both don't have kids as of yet.
No.
So,
it's not even wood.
It's not even wood. Hey, don't worry, we got some.
No, it's not even wood. Give me a couple of those.
But like, if you had to say, how would you describe the role of a father?
Ooh.
What should a father be? Both father and stepfather. What are their roles?
Stepfather's going to be hard because I've never had one, so I'll let you take that one.
But do you think it's limitations?
Yeah. I mean, limitations in the sense of like, well, let's focus on what I think, what I believe I know first, right? Because I'm going to go to uncharted territories there. What I believe I know is that the role of a father, whether it's a stepfather or a biological father, right, is to mold the mind of the son, right, in a way where he believes in himself. He has a different perspective, one that's not as conforming to the world, you know, that would give him an opportunity to be successful, self-sufficient, a provider, you know, a protector, right? Be an example, you know, and not just by saying it, but by doing it. Because kids get to a certain age where they're able to say, like, Dad's a liar, right? Dad's a liar, Dad, like, right? So it's important for you, and it's hard because it's a decision every day. So the role of a father is to be an example, you know, but also, you know, kind of, they're only human. And I think that's that disconnect as a kid, that you don't realize your father's a human being. You know, as he's trying to be an example. And when you find out that when Superman put his glasses on, he Clark Kent, you be like, wait a minute, you get upset. So, seriously, you know, the role of a father is to really be that guiding light, like to be like, son, this is how you do things, and cut down the time it took him to be successful. You know, you don't look at your son and say, I'm going to make you Big Ive 2.0, right? Because then that's a journey that you're bound to fail. Your son is your own person, right? You know, I'm my own man. And my father tried to make me him, I would hate him right now, right? He let me be me, you know, but you definitely want to give your son the support to be himself and have that journey. You gotta let him get burned a little bit. You can't protect him from every fire, you know, but stepdad, you have that same responsibility, you know, but the limitations, right? Depend on the dynamic, what the mother says, you know, don't put your hands on my son. Like, you know, it's a lot of limitations that has to be defined by that specific relationship. So in regards to the value you bring, you know, if the mother gives you that area to run and the son is as receptive and you showing up every day, you can do the exact same thing that the biological father could do, or even better, you know, so it all depends on who you are.
Nah, that's real. So would you say back then your views of a father has changed from your views today of a father?
Well, yeah.
Because sometimes, like, I know for me personally, I still hold on to some of my childlike thoughts. And, you know, I was just curious, you know. And
you know, I want to ask you what you're talking about, right? You know, but tell me more about that, right?
I mean, we have them though, right? It's all in different areas, you know. Because for me personally, even though, let's just say, as a kid, that longing for a dad, even then, you know, I'm pretty sure every time you saw your dad, you would smile. Today, you see your dad, you would smile. Why is that?
Because my dad. I don't know. I mean, that's the way that it always been. You know, I mean, when I think about like the role of a dad or father, you know, I don't even understand the difference. Maybe some people can tell me. I don't know. Dad and father are interchangeable for me. Then versus now, I think the only thing that has changed is I can actually start to feel like I'm at the age in which my father made mistakes or made decisions. Like I'm coming into my own self as a man, and I'm starting to really see like my dad's a human.
Yeah.
Like it took me maybe until I started to turn like later 20s. Like even in my early 20s, I knew my dad was a human, but he still wasn't. We didn't bleed the same blood, right?
Yeah.
Like, but now as I get older and I see my father getting older and he's going to the dentist and he's going to the doctor and I'm looking like that, needs help, he's getting older. It's like my father, I'm at the point where it's like my father's on the decline, right? As a human in regards to his age and where he's going, and it humanizes him a bit.
Right.
And also me, like being in my early 30s, it's like, I'm just starting to understand more. So the role as a father is very hard, and it's a decision you got to make every day. And I know it wasn't easy, and the fact that he stayed, I respect him 1,000 times more.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 times more. I had a point of view when I was a kid. Dad, don't do this. Dad, don't do that. But now, as I grow as a man, I'm like,
you want to take care of him.
it's like, dude, like you did the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
Like you stayed.
Yeah.
And you protected and provided. You know, you weren't perfect.
Yeah.
But you did it.
You
so that's a gem.
Yeah.
That's a gem, man.
Speaking of gems, what's one of the biggest gems that he has taught you?
Ooh. My father's he's big on parables.
Okay.
Like he'll call you downstairs, like Ivory, come downstairs. I'm like, I run downstairs. I get down there. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he'll be like, every action has an equal or opposite reaction. Never forget that. And I'm like, okay. He like, say it back to me. I'm like, what? Right? So as a kid, my father would always tell me like these little things. And one thing he drilled into me was like, son, you're not a follower, you're a leader.
Yeah.
Like he would always tell me that.
Right.
Like you don't follow nobody. He would get pissed. Like don't follow nobody. And my father always told me, like you're a leader. And it comes across in my demeanor now. Like I have a very hard time following people, right? And I'm not naive to the point where like, if you have a plan, like I would definitely let's collaborate. You lead, like not in that sense, but I'm not a follower at all. And he would always never. Yeah. And he'd always told me, never give up. Yeah. Like if you start something, you finish something. Yeah. Right? And that's how it works. So a lot of guys, I see people give up or like, you know, start projects or businesses and then they just kind of fizzle out. Yeah. You know, if you lose interest, that's fine. Right? But one thing, you're a leader and you never give up. So, you know, guys who didn't have a father or someone to kind of instill that confidence into them, it comes across at some point in your relationship, at some point in your business, at some point in some area of your life. So that gem is something that I have that I can pass down to my son. Like, son, you a leader. Yeah. Like, son, like, don't give up when you start something. And that's valuable, man.
Nah, it's real. So then, let's just say, let me ask you this. What original gem would you pass down to your son?
What original gem? You know, I don't know yet. I know the feeling and the energy that I want to transfer. Yeah. I don't think I have the words yet, to be honest. And the words that I can use to describe it, they aren't concise. It's along the lines of being able to be introspective. You know, because it took me a long time to kill my ego. And I've hurt a lot of women in the process. I lost a lot of jobs in the process. I missed a lot of opportunities because I thought that I was perfect. Gotcha. Right? So it took me a long time to realize, like, you know, always be aware of, like, yourself. Yeah. Like, you're moving through life and people are like, you know, pawns and you're kind of like maneuvering as if it's a game. Yeah. But you're not looking at the player itself, right? Gotcha. So it took me a long time to be introspective. And whenever I figure that out, you know, I'll tell my son.
Yeah. Nah, I can feel that. And the way that sounds like self-awareness, though. It's basically self-awareness in a way. And I can feel that 100%. I'd say, so what... I'm trying to think, like, what would you, if you had to mentor kids today, or even then, let's just say if a friend was willing, like, to walk out on a woman the moment he found out that his girl is pregnant, what would you tell
These
him?
These questions, Alex, goodness gracious.
I'm just saying.
You know,
because the benefits of a father, right? A man being in the household. Damn.
I hope my friends, make sure y'all comment on this video because I want it to be a testament to my character. I really try to hold my friends to a standard that I want them to hold me to. And a lot of my friends don't have that relationship or don't have that father figure in their life. So, you know, I'm always going to keep it 100 and be like, bro, listen, I know you're not feeling shorty and you want to go in there, but this kid coming into the world, you know, innocent, right?
Right.
They deserve an opportunity that you didn't have, you know, regardless of how this relationship has gone. You know, you got a responsibility. Now, I take pride in being a man. Stand up and be a man.
Yeah.
It's time.
Right.
Like, it's time to be a man. So I would always encourage him to do the right thing.
So would you encourage marriage or write it out?
No. I would never say because you had a child, you have to get married. I think that that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be a hypocrite because I'm maturing constantly.
Yeah.
You know, and at this point in my life, I can say, like, you don't play anybody close that you're really not trying to rock with. Like, you know, that's how it got to be. But I would not encourage marriage, you know, for that situation. Unless, I mean, if you was feeling it and you trying to work it out, let's see where it go. But I'm like, you pregnant? I went to Jared. Like, that's not it. And, don't go to Jared. Like, don't do it. Yeah.
So I know one point you wanted to touch on was the emotional aspect of the father-son relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What about that relationship did you want to talk about on the emotional standpoint?
Well, this is a pivot in the conversation altogether, because I genuinely feel that every man can relate in some point. Like, if you can't relate, hopefully it's a good thing, because you and your father has a relationship that's transitioned into something that every other man desires. And I think that just the history behind being a man, you know, and showing that emotion is something that was never really taught. Like, you're taught to be strong, don't cry, you know. So when you have a son, how do you show him this spectrum of emotion that all comes together and equals love, right? Yeah. Other than telling him and providing for him, protecting him, right? So I know at this age, I'm 31. Yeah. And I know when I get on the phone with my father, hey, Dad, how's it going? It's good, son. Here's your mother. You're like, wait, like, I want to have the same connection I have with my mom. Yeah. With you. Yeah. Like, I want to give my emotions to you and receive those from you, but a lot of men don't know how to do that because of certain stigmas that were around or continue to be here today in regards to being emotional. And it's like, how do I deepen my bond with my dad on an emotional level when I wasn't taught how to do it? Who takes that first step? Because you look at your dad as a leader. Like, why don't you come to me and tell me you want this love, right? But then you get on the phone, you're like, well, maybe my dad has reached the precipice of emotions. Like, he doesn't know how to do that. And I'm aware of it. It's my job to bring it up. Maybe I need to set the table. Hey, Dad, let's go to dinner. And then tell him what I need from him, or give him what I believe like was missing, because he probably never had it himself. Right. You know, so it's different, man. Yeah. It's different. How you feel about that, man? I know I just went deep on an emotional tangent, but I think that as black men, for sure, like the black emotion love bubble is it's tough. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like I told you before, I feel like personally, even now, it's a certain amount of honesty. You know, like I feel like I know for me personally, I'll just speak from my experience. You taught to either hold information or you talking too much. And in reality is live your truth. Yeah. You know, and like for me now, I'm just going to tell people how I feel about them, how they make me feel. And I'm just now doing that at the age of 28 because I'm going, damn, it's so much stuff that I'm holding in to where, like, in a way, it causes me to overthink what this person is thinking. And maybe they may want to say, like, even then, you know, with you and your dad, you could open up to him and say, hey, you know, look, dude, I love you. Let's just talk. You know, like. But yeah, that reaction, right? I highly doubt that you say that to your dad. He's going to look at you and be like, all right.
Well,
Like,
well, look.
really? Like,
Yeah, no, this is real. That's the honest to God truth.
all right, love you too, man. Like,
That may happen, but then that's on him.
Yeah.
But then my deal now is like, yo, if I have a son, I'm gonna give him all the love that I didn't get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be open with him the complete opposite way that my father was with me. You know, both stepfathers and my actual father.
Daddy 0, stepdad 1, stepdad 2.
Yeah.
We gotta. But I read an article. It was pretty interesting because it said that it was a guy who same situation.
Yeah.
When I have my son, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And he had his son, and the first 6 years of him being a father was bliss.
Yeah.
And he was there for his son. He protected him. He loved him. He showed emotion. And then when his son turned 7 and 8 and began to test the boundaries of his independence, his father almost got insulted. Like, you don't see me trying to love you. Like, and his son was trying to like grow as a kid in adolescence. And as the kid progressed and got older, 12, 13, 14, he reverted back to being his dad. Yeah. Because he wanted to give his son this, immeasurable amount of love. But when his son began to test the boundaries consistently, the dad was like, okay, in order to, I'm not going to take your head off. I'm just going to love you like this. Yeah. And he turned into his father. Yeah. Right? So that can happen. Yeah, it can. You just got to be aware. Yeah, got to be introspective.
Nah, seriously. Yeah. That's a thing right there where it's like, I feel like personally, like as far as like being a father, you never can really judge yours until you become one. Yeah. And that right there, that's gonna be a beast for me. I ain't gonna lie to you.
What do you think would change? What do you think would change? Like, and this is the Father's Day special, so really, shout out to my father, shout out to Alex dad 1, Alex dad 2. Shout out to all the dads out there.
We love y'all.
We love y'all, man. I think that it's important, and I know a lot of my boys and my brothers out there, are fathers, and they're doing the best they can. So big ups to you guys too. Unfortunately, we haven't got there yet. Yeah. And we will get there soon. But how do you think that you will transition as a man? Not from a lifestyle of like I can't do what I want, but from a mental standpoint, an emotional standpoint, like where do you think that will take you? Like how do you feel you'll change?
Fatherhood, I always heard that there's nothing like a child's love. Mm-hmm. So once you feel that, you become more of everything, more patient, mm-hmm. More, I guess in tune with your emotions mm-hmm. as well. Or, you just try to be the best you can be. I think I'll become a better human being. A part of me thinks I'll be more motivated in a weird way. Because then that kid becomes your why. That's a human life that you have to watch and develop. So I think that's how I would change. I would be more caring and more motivated. How about you?
I mean, I think it's some synergy there for sure. Like, you have this human being who's looking at you and they're like, I'm hungry, like all the time. And you're like, oh my God, right? Yeah. I gotta feed this hungry thing, right? Like, I feel that the sense of responsibility, I am at heart like a protector provider, right? And I think that
a leader.
Because I saw my father do it. Yeah. So as I grow and I get older, I'm like, okay, you're getting into the stage in which you remember your father being. Yeah. You have a barometer. Like, okay, he was here. I got to be better. And my father, one good thing that he taught me back to the gyms was, I need you to be better than me. Yeah. So being a dad and just being vulnerable enough to say, yo, I'm all right, but I'm sacrificing so you can go miles. Yeah. Right? So I already know I have to be better than my dad. So when I'm making X amount of money or when I'm doing certain things, I don't look at it as like, I'm better than my dad. I'm like, I'm on his shoulders. Yeah. Like, this is what he wanted me to do. Yeah. So it's a responsibility, even having a son or a daughter, let's not leave them out, just being a parent, right. It's assume the position. Yeah. Like, and I already know what that is because I had somebody to look towards,
So as far as the legacy goes into it, what legacy do you want to create for your family?
It's a beautiful time to be alive. Yeah.
Very
beautiful time to be alive. And as chaotic as outside is, I see a lot of people trying to change generational curses and create generational wealth right now. So, the legacy that I'm trying to leave is like, he was a hardworking man, who always did the right thing. He had integrity, He loved his wife. He loved his kids. You know, he did everything within his power to make sure that they were happy, they were fed, they were protected. So, you know, whatever that transpires into down the line, or whatever it turns out to be, you know, we'll see. But that's really kind of the gist of the legacy, man. When somebody says you're hardworking, you're honest, you're loyal, you're faithful, you know, it says a lot about your character. So obviously I would love to leave a big bag of money, a big bag of money to the family. That's also on the agenda, some assets and some residual income, so they don't have to have that same type of struggle. But, you know, definitely more along the lines of, you know, granddad or dad or great granddad was this type of person, and that's passed down, and the last name of my last name continues to mean something. Yeah. You know, so
I could feel that 100%. I'd say so. Is there anything that you would like to say to your dad on camera?
Actually, yeah. Make sure he got to see this. All right. I love you. Like, I love you. I know that at times we get off the phone, but hey, I love you. But I genuinely love you, and I appreciate everything you've done. Even though I've never sat down and looked you in your face and said, I appreciate everything you've done. I would be nothing without you. I would be lost without you. We love you. You know, look forward to going through many life events with your guidance, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon, man. And I know you've shared with me on camera and off camera, you know, about your relationship with your stepdad and your dad, and you know, you have multiple men that played, you know, a role in your life, and you know, at times that can be a beautiful thing because you have so many different points of views. You know, what would you say here at this point to them on Father's Day?
Father's Day love. First and foremost, I love you guys. I appreciate you every lesson. I know it took a minute for me to start applying. I'm applying now. I'm the kid that grew up late. So I appreciate you guys. I love you. There's the amount of love and respect that I have for you all is ridiculous. And I'm proud. I plan on making you proud one day.
They're proud already.
Yeah.
And I, you know, man, I think that we're so hard on ourselves.
Very.
You know, because we don't want to let them down.
Yeah, it's like you said, we see our fathers as superheroes.
Yeah. And
that's that pressure, right? It creates that anxiety, at least for me.
Not me too. We're in the same boat.
Yeah. That's a motherfucker, man. I don't mean to curse, but you know, we gonna rise to the occasion. We're leaders.
Yeah.
You know, all those gems that they taught us, everything, and even then, we're playing for legacy. You know, we're gonna pass these stories down about our fathers to our kids, and then our grandkids. You know, we have that blessing. So we just gotta keep going, keep mashing on the gas.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And if you can think about a situation that you were in, and it could be, you know, something that your father taught you, or some gem that he gave you that helped you. It could be you getting into content creation, or it could be you, you know, making some type of power play, or even getting out of a tough situation that, like, hey, if it wasn't for my dad and the information that he gave me, you know, I wouldn't have done X, Y, Z. Can you think about some times or a time where you'd be like, man, this is how important it is to have a dad, because this is why I made this stride or this decision, because of the information he gave me?
That's a deep question. That's a great question. Man,
it's on the spot.
It's on the spot.
It's a raw question, because I know you can think about something and it's like which one you want to choose, but like let's big up the pops real quick.
Yeah.
You know, like
the one thing for sure is and I've taken this with me since like that day. One day we're in Brazil and we're running on the beach, and
I'm not gonna share my story because you run on the beach in Brazil with your dad.
I was lucky. I was fortunate. Literally, bro. And at this point in time, man, I was doing dumb shit. Just like half-assing everything. And I think he could tell. You know, father always paying attention. They know.
Give you some rope, too.
Exactly. So I'm running with him on the beach, and he smoked me. And And so at the end of the run, he goes, "Did you even give like 100%? Did you even try?" And I go, "Nah, I was just running." He's like, "Then why would you do it?" And I was like, "I was just doing it just to do it." He's like, "Don't you ever do nothing that you don't want to do. Give 100% or don't do it at all." And I carry that with me till this day. Well, not to this day, but I do carry it with me to this day. I apply it now more so this year than I have any other time in my life. So it's like no half-assing. Even then, I won't tolerate half-ass energy, because it's like if you're gonna half-ass, why are we even doing it? You know what I'm saying? It's a passion thing.
Yeah.
What about you?
And that's crazy that you still make decisions today off of things your father told you when you were a kid. It's like you mature so much, but you still an adolescent at heart when you think about things your father told you. So it's still like you're a grown man kid to your dad, right? It's so weird, man. When I think about this one time, there's a park called Weekway Park, right, in Newark. And there's a high school called Weekway High School. And I remember I was a kid and my father or my mother or somebody signed me up for some race. And we're running around the track. We're jogging. I'm in first place. I'm about to win the race. And I start looking back while I'm in first place. And somebody passed me.
Yeah.
And I got second place. And I was crying. And my dad was like, "Son, you was in first place. You shouldn't have looked back.
Yeah.
Next time you run a race, you always look straight.
Yeah.
Don't look back."
That's a gem.
In my life, even coming from Newark and, just scaling at such an aggressive rate, going from Newark to New York to Connecticut to California to Dallas, going to college, going to grad school, starting a business, jumping, just always going. I've left a lot of people.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, right?
Yeah.
But
you got your
I'm
blinders.
looking straight.
Yeah.
And you're always focused. You got to lead. I'm not following nobody, right?
Yeah.
I've started this journey. I'm in Dallas now. I can't give up. I got to keep going. If Chicago's next, if Miami, you got to keep going. You got to go. And it's almost like an infectious disease. Like, when do you stop? Though?
Yeah.
So sometimes I look at my dad. I'm so happy he gave me this gym. But at times I'm like, I need you to give me the instruction manual to this, because I detach from anything if I feel like I'm being anchored.
Yeah.
Because I'm not supposed to stop, right? You told me this.
Yeah.
You told me to keep going. You told me never give up.
Legend.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm in a relationship and I love the girl, but she not working as hard as me. I gotta get rid of her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
My dad told me to.
Yeah. Nah, that's legendary.
And it's crazy, man. Like it's as you get older, you gotta realize, like, I have to be realistic about the gems my pops gave me.
Yeah.
Because you took them as law.
Yeah.
And now I'm out here moving so aggressively. It's like, don't change the gem, but just realize what he meant when he gave it to you.
Exactly. Yeah. And even then, like, I kind of feel that way with like Bible reading it sometimes. The way the pastor may interpret that verse is totally different than your interpretation. So you have to throw your spin on it and apply it the best way that you can to your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But like that gem your father dropped on you is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. And even then, I'm going to take that and run with it. Literally.
Yeah, man, a few words, man. Like, I don't know where he get his information from. He used to do karate.
Really?
When he was young. So he was a martial artist. He was he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
He used to do like bodyguard work. Everybody said my dad was like, when you grow up and you're like, your dad. And then when you see people that knew your dad or know your dad, man, your dad's the man. You'd be like, this guy? Like, he's your dad, right? So you never really think your dad is like, you have friends now.
Yeah.
And your friends think about you a certain way. So when you have a kid, and they're like, back in the day, man, Alex was creating the best content, your kid gonna be like, Dad? Like, so every time I met someone out in the street, and they'd be like, you Vic's son? Oh, he was a bad motherfucker. I'd be like, the guy that's on the couch? Like, I was so confused. The guy that's on the couch?
Yeah.
He was bad? Like, he was a bad man? But, like, my father has a lot of real life lessons, man.
Yeah.
And I just value everything he says. Sometimes when I go home, I just want to soak it up so bad. Just like, I just sit in the living room with him on the couch. And I'd be like, hey, what's going on? I just try to create small talk. Because I'm like, whatever he gives me, when I go back to Dallas, I have to use it to survive.
So
You know, like,
yeah, no. So today his role is your coach, your father, and what is what you say?
We're transitioning into best friend, right?
Right.
My father and I, and this is great. So I'm gonna go on my Ivory tangent for a second. This is great, and this is gonna be raw, and I think the viewers will love this one. You know, my father and I have a history. My father. I hope my mother doesn't see this. My father, you know, it would be things from like, he would help me sneak girls out the house.
Yeah.
Like, my father, like, I'll come downstairs and I'm like, still with the drunk face on. My dad will look at me and I'd be like, he'd be like, what's up? He'd be like, I'll go distract your mother. Go ahead, right? Like, things like that. Or I'll come home, just got into a fight at the strip club. I'm like, I'm going back outside. I'm going to get the gun. I'm angry. Me and my dad get into a little tussle. Like, we have just a history. I remember I came home drunk one time, showed up at the house, had some chick driving my car to the house. Yeah. Right? My hand was all bleeding because I had broke a glass at the bar, and I pulled up to the house, and my father was just like, I'm going to tell your mother to stay in the room. Like, he shielded me from my mom, right? Because my mom is so emotional. Like, what happened? Oh my God. He'd be like, Portia, be quiet, right? I'm talking to my son, right? Right. And as a young man, to be able to know, like, I don't talk to this man much. Yeah. He gave me life. Yeah. He's protected me. He provided for me. Yeah. But when shit get hot, I can't go to mom. Yeah. Mom don't understand nothing I'm talking about. Yeah. I need to go to dad. Mom, stop talking. Yeah. Right? I'm talking to dad right now. And dad, let me talk to my son. Let me talk. And then you just hope he gets you. Yeah, seriously. Right? The life of a man. And that's the real vibe that we've had. And even though like the conversations like, hey dad, teach me about life, it was more of like, if you ever have something you need to talk about, that's beyond control, you come to me. And there's times when I saved his ass too. You know, so it goes both ways, and we never ever spoke about those moments after they happened. And that kind of ingrained in my personality, because you can come to me because something going on in your life, and I can be there for you. Right. And I'll never bring it up. Yeah. And a lot of people don't interact with people like that. Yeah. I help you out. You think I'm gonna go tell everybody I helped you. Yeah. That's not how I was raised. Yeah. That's the code. Yeah. You help me out. Done. Yeah. That's real. So it's a little bit different, man. I mean, I am my father's son. Yeah. Nah, I am too. Man. I am my father's son. I am too. So wrapping it up, where can people find you? Oh man, they can find me through you. They can find me through Alex is my man. You can find me through Alex. But on Instagram, I'm BigIve.361. The 361's for 361 Commission. So if you know anybody competitive video gaming content creation, let me know. And follow 361 Commission on Instagram as well. Do that, please. Yeah, that's it, man. I say you can follow me at I am Alex J Martin on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, even YouTube. This will be on the YouTube channel. Okay. When we're gonna come up with a name for this show / podcast. We're plotting right now. We got a couple of good names, and it's coming very soon.